that at the time there was a lot of criticism then hurled at the Secretary of State, John Kerry, suggesting that he wanted this deal more than either the Palestinians or the Israelis. And we did hear some criticism in particular from Israeli officials that he was perhaps going into areas where he shouldn't have gone and that he wasn't acting as an honest broker. So this is something that really has been building, but really in more recent times when we saw those 4 children killed on that beach in view of international reporters just a couple of weeks ago, we started hearing very public criticisms from the U.S. government, from President Barack Obama, from the Secretary of State, from their spokespeople, saying that the Israelis need to be much more careful to prevent civilian casualties. The Israelis have never been subjected to that kind of public criticism, and I think that's really where this all started.
Okay, all relationships ebb and flow. On the surface right now there may be tension. What about the foundations of that relationship? How solid are they?
Well, when you get right down to it in Washington, everything comes back to money. You don't see money being cut. That's a very different situation from what we saw during the presidency of the first George Bush in the late 80s and early 90s, when then Secretary of State James Baker was willing and actually did suspend about $1 billion or so, if I recall, in loan guarantees for Israel, because the Bush administration at that point was very unhappy with the way that Israel was dealing with the Palestinians. It's that kind of clout that essentially could reset a relationship. But given the politics here in the United States, I don't know whether it is possible for the Obama administration to take a similar step. We saw just recently a recommitment on the part of the U.S. Congress to authorize some of the construction of the components of Israel's Iron Dome missile defense system here in the United States. That is going forward. There's no hint from the Obama administration that it's going to stop that process. And so unless you see something on that magnitude, essentially the relationship continues. It is very different, though, when you have all of these video images and all of these social media images of what is happening inside Gaza, that really makes it difficult for the Obama administration to ignore what is happening on the ground. And certainly there is more of a willingness, at least within the executive branch, to speak out against what it sees as human atrocities.
Ros, many thanks indeed. Al Jazeera's Rosalind Jordan there in Washington, D.C. Okay.